गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः। नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We will read on page 38. Yasho Janesani Swaha. Start. Janesani Swaha. Shreyanvasya Sosani Swaha. Tantra Bhaga Pravishani Swaha. Samabhaga Pravisha Swaha. Tasmin Sahasrashake निबधाहं त्वयिन्दुजे स्वाहा। यथा पत्रवतायन्ति यथा मासा अहर्जरम् एवं मां ब्रह्मचारिणः धातरायन्तु सर्वतः स्वाहा। प्रतिवेशोऽसि प्रमाभाहि प्रमापद्यस्व। In this prakaran, in this topic that we are discussing, Brahma Jnana, wherefrom suddenly the prayer for acquisition of wealth has come. Sri Kamasya. Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, Sri Kamo asmin vidya prakarane abhidhiyamanaha dhanarthaha. Although we are talking about Brahma Vidya, in this Upanishad, which is ultimately going to point out Satyam Jnanamanantam Brahma Yo Veda Nihidam Guhayam. In this, wherefrom this sudden topic of Dhana Prapti, he says, Dhanam cha karmartham. The wealth is acquired for doing karma. And karma for what purpose? Karma cha upatta durita kshayaya. Now this is very important aspect of, this is called as paramparagat sadhana. Today where we are is a place where we are caught up in cause and effect. This cause and effect catch can be removed only by one method, that although we function within the cause and effect, we do not get caught up by them. And how this is done? So whatever karma we do, in this karma we do not allow 2-3 things to happen. And these 2-3 things are referred in our Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter. That Karmanyevadhikaraste, the first aspect, we are supposed to do karma as long as we consider ourselves to be limited. There is no giving up karma under any pretext. First, Karmanyevadhikaraste. When we will do karma, the subsequent follow-up is we will be caught up in the karma phala. So the teacher tells us we have no control over karma phala. So that which is not under our control, don't get lost and disturbed by that. But there is one place where we have control, in this karma and karma phala reactions, and where it is ma karma phala hetuhu bhu. Do not become the cause for the creation of karma phala. How the karma phala is created? When action is owned by a doer, when action is associated with a sense of doership, then the action becomes deed. Then the kriya becomes karma. So here the teacher says, ma karma phala heturubhuhu. Do not become the cause for creating the karma phala, meaning do not have the sense of doership or agency in your action. And the last one is akartrutva. Do not yield to renunciation of karma out of ignorance. So mate sangaha astu akarmani. Therefore, dhanam cha karmartham, the wealth is meant for doing the karma, and the karma is done for purification of the mind. What is the purification of the mind? Only two things. Where raga dvesha is removed, meaning all our actions which are born, they must not be the result of our personal liking and disliking. So whenever we are told about doing karma as kartavya karma, in that kartavya karma, the element of raga dvesha, the element of liking and disliking is totally rejected. And therefore, what is very, very essential, that we do the karma, but the result of that karma should not be looked upon outside, but within our heart. And what is that result? Are we becoming free from the obsessions of likes and dislikes? Therefore, karma cha upatta durita kshayaya. Upatta is sanchita karma. So, upatta durita, whatever we have collected earlier, good or bad, kshayaya for the removal. So all the karma is done only for the purification of the mind. Yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. That is the purpose. Now, why so much insistence is given on the purification of the heart, even in the Upanishad? Because tat kshayehi vidya prakashate. Unless these upatta durita, the accumulated karma in the form of likes and dislikes, raga and dvesha, unless they are removed, unless they are destroyed, unless they are rejected, there is no possibility of correct understanding of the truth. This is one of the biggest obstacles which many seekers, even after many lives, are not able to catch. What is that? When we read, study, we understand that I think I understood everything. But the question is, we have understood, it's very good. But whether our understanding is correct or not, who will decide? And there nobody is there that you can go and inquire. देखो भाई मुझे ब्रह्म मिल गया, तुम्हारा दिखाओ जरा कैसा है? No. There is nobody whom you can refer to. There is nobody whom you can consult to. There is nobody who can tell you whether what you have recognized as Brahman is the right thing or not. And therefore, here it is very essential that whether we have understood and whether we have understood correctly or not, that is important. And for that, the requirement is this, that tat kshayehi vidya prakashate. We have to purify, clean our heart. Without that, it is not possible. Now, yatha smritihi, so also is said in the Mahabharata, jnanam utpadyate pumsam kshayat papasya karmanaha. Papasya karmanaha kshayat pumsam jnanam utpadyate. When the sinful actions are rejected, destroyed. And what is the sin? Please understand this word also very important. Sin doesn't mean anything bad or good. Sin means any action which leaves an impression on the mind. That action is sinful. So when we have scolded somebody and regrets, so that regret is the sin. Or we have given somebody something and then we have a sense of vanity and ego. See, I have given this much, or else I don't know what he would have done. In this manner, this charity or giving something also becomes a sin because it is leaving an impression on the mind. Therefore, jnanam utpadyate pumsam kshayat papasya karmanaha yatha adarsha tale prakhe pasyatyatmanam atmani. And therefore, only when the mirror is absolutely clean, in that only we can see clearly the reflection. So also the Supreme reflects perfectly only in the pure heart which is free from the limitations of Raga Dvesha. Thus in this Chaturtha Anuvak mainly three things are asked. First, Upasana is very essential. Without Upasana we cannot go ahead. And in this Upasana, to whom Upasana is done? Because we are in the Upanishad, Vedic text, therefore, Yas Chandasam Vrishabhaha. The Omkara is taken as the Alambana of Upasana. But in today's world, what we can understand this as our Ishta Devata. So without doing the Upasana, we will never have any possibility of thinking of something higher than us. Therefore, Upasana is done first to register in our understanding. The superior than me, superior than the world, there is someone who is to be invoked. Without his blessings, without his consent, nothing can be achieved. This is the first principle of Upasana. After that, Upasana is done. Then we will be able to do the Upasana only when we have discovered Mahatmya Jnana. When we have discovered the greatness of that whom we are invoking. Suppose we are told that if you go and invoke Deve Gowda, you will get a petrol pump. Isn't it? Now, when we know that he has already gone, who will do his Upasana? Because Mahatmya is over. Now it is only the latest model. Who was telling me yesterday, very good one, his name is present Prime Minister, because they go on changing every now and then, how many things you can remember. So, when we have Mahatmya about that power, whom we invoke, now that Mahatmya is given in this Upasana, that this Chandobhya Amrita Sambhavuva Samendro Medhayas Prunotu. Then we inquire and request from that Ishvara, our Ishta Devata, here Om, Medhayas Prunotu. May he bless us with proper understanding. After that, then Shri Kama. Then there is a desire for the wealth. And after having said this, here this particular sentence Bhagavan Shankaracharya said that Medha Nirvartanat Parama Avaha Anaya Amedhasahi Shrihi Anathaya Eva Iti. An unintelligent man, if he is blessed with lot of wealth, that wealth becomes a source of calamity. And therefore first Medha, wisdom is inquired or requested, and then the wealth. Now in this wealth also, it is not that itna de diya bas ho gaya. No. He says, may I get wealth, may my wealth grow, and may I become richer than the richest. And thereafter, may I use this wealth for the dharma karya. And when I will do dharma karya, the result will be my mind will become purified, and with this purified mind alone, I will become qualified to know the truth. Now see the total thought. Therefore, it is very, very essential that we should discard this world after having acquired something. If we have nothing, and then we say, now I am observing fast unto death. Now you have nothing to eat, you have no choice, and therefore you are doing like this. So this majburi ka naam Mahatma Gandhi is not the way of renunciation. Now after having said this, we have come on page 39. Prativeshaha shrama apanayasthanam asanna graham ityartaha. So prativeshosi, to that Ishta Devata, to that Bhagwan, to that Indra, to that Parmeshwara. Now the prayer is said, Prativeshosi, O Lord, you are the final refuge. Now this is another important aspect in our Upasana. When we do Upasana, in that Upasana, what is required is, we must have unquestionable surrender to the one deity or one God whom we are having our invocation offered to, and none else. Otherwise, Ganga gaye Gangadas, Jamna gaye Jamnadas, and in this way, nowhere stable thing. That is how those who go for Guru shopping, they go to so many places and yet their nishtha is not firm. So, here the teacher says, Prativeshaha asi, O Lord, you are the final abode where I can certainly discover absolute bliss and peace. So, Shrama apanayasthanam asanna graham ityartaha. Evam tvam prativeshaha iva. In this manner, you are like a final abode. Now, ataha mam prati prabhahi prakashaya atmanam prapadyasvacha. Now here also these words are to be again reread. Pramabhahi pramapadyasva. Now that pra will go with the verb. It is not prama, it should be prapahi and prapadyasva. So, O Lord, you are the final abode of everything, and kindly protect me and also bless me. And in this manner, in this Chaturtha Anuvag, this Upasana is being discussed, and this Upasana continues. The whole first chapter is mainly Upasana Pradhan. Mam rasaviddham iva loham tvanmayam tvad atmanam kuru ityartaha. Now what is the ultimate in this Upasana? Now see how the Upasana began. First, Medha Kam. Then the Shri Kam. Then through the Shri or the wealth, purification of the heart through karma. And then final refuge. O Lord, you are my final refuge. And ultimately, O Lord, may I merge with you. So, first we begin Upasana with the duality. In this Upasana, there is importance of karma and bhakti. But this karma and bhakti has a limit. And thereafter, this karma bhakti which keeps the duality intact, that is also discarded. And therefore it is said, Mam rasamiddham iva loham tvanmayam tvad atmanam kruityartaha. Just like the iron becomes one with the another chemical when it is added in a proper manner, such as mercury, etc. In this manner, O Lord, make me one with you. So, Sri Kamo Asmin Vidya Prakarane Avidiyamana Dhanartha Dhanam cha Karmartham Karma cha Upatta Duritakshayaya Tat Kshayehi Vidya Prakashate. In this manner, in this fourth Anuvag, this is the topic in short. Now, in this Panchama Anuvag, next one, Samhita Vishayam Upasanam Uktam. Tad Anu Medha Kamasya Shri Kamasya cha Mantraha Anukrantaha. तेच पारंपर्येण विद्या उपयोगार्था एव अनंतरम व्याहृत्यात्मनः ब्रह्मणः अंतर उपासनम स्वाराज्य फलम प्रस्तूयते. So what is said up to this point? Samhita Vishayam Upasanam Uktam. First we were given the vision. When we studied the grammar, Shiksham, Vyakhya, Syamaha, Varnasvaraha. So when we studied the grammar, in that don't get only lost and become a grammarian, but develop a vision. And what is that vision? It was given through the Samhita Upanishad. So, Samhita Vishaya Upasanam Uktam. Tad Anu, thereafter, Medha Kamasya. mantraha. Then the next topic that was taken was the medha kama, the desire for the right kind of understanding. Thereafter, Sri Kamasya mantraha ukta. Thereafter, the mantras for doing the Agnihotra karma, homa karma, for getting the wealth. Techa paramparena vidya upayogartha eva. This is what is called as paramparik sadhana. So what is the paramparik sadhana? There are many things which are required to be done by a seeker, and in that there are few things called as the tradition associated with our life. When we honor the tradition, it is no good that we should revolt against tradition, no. When we honor the tradition, what happens? That through that tradition, we grow out of our own likes and dislikes. And therefore, paramparagata sadhana must be done. Like our parampara tells that when we go and we salute the teacher by touching his feet. But now we want to have revolt. Like many social workers, out of their own enthusiasm, they revolted against the traditions and created more problems in this world. So, earlier tradition is that when we go to the teacher, we touch his feet. But now we are educated, unfortunately. So what we will do? Where is the knowledge? Knowledge is in the head. So why touch the feet? Therefore, hereafter, whenever we go to Guru, put hand, tathastu, bless that Guru. From there only the knowledge will come. Why? Because we want to revolt. This kind of approach in society or life destroys the society. Another example, this over-enthusiasm of the great politicians of our great Mera Bharat Mahan to remove the so-called untouchability, which was never there. What they have done? They have created hatred among the classes. Nowhere in the scriptures there is a sanction that anywhere the Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, this classification is meant for introducing hatred among them. But this is the gift of our wise politicians. Because they wanted to revolt against the parampara. They wanted to revolt against the tradition. And that is why when you have seen also in our Balvihar camp, never encourage that kind of thinking. When you look at our poor Ganeshji, instead of having devotion and love and singing his glory, you start talking about his parts. The most crime, worst kind of crime that we can inflict on the minds of our children. During that age, up to the age of 12, we are handling a mind which is meant to develop Shraddha, faith, and also good values in life, and not for talking all kinds of nonsense that his stomach is big because he has got indigestion, and then he has his one tooth was broken because he was eating too much of Kit Kat, therefore don't eat. This kind of approach is detrimental. Therefore parampara, tradition, is very, very essential. Wherever there is a breach in tradition, understand that is the inauguration of destruction of that culture. It is said in the American society about 40 years back, the society was like our Indian society. The houses used to be together. The parent, the grandparent, the children, they used to all stay together. Suddenly from somewhere, like the AIDS virus, this virus of freedom has gone into their head. And as a result, anybody who wants to do anything, if he is allowed to do, then only the freedom. And to what extent it can go? That an individual, a citizen has got a freedom to burn the flag of the same nation before the parliament. This is called as freedom. This is how the freedom degrades to the licentiousness. And therefore, it is very essential that the parampara or the tradition must be respected. Therefore, never we should be over enthusiastic to make our children spiritual and in that destroy the culture. That is totally wrong. There are many of our people, out of over enthusiasm, they go on doing these things. So, संहिता विषय उपासनम उक्तम तदनु मेधा कामस्य श्रेय कामस्य मंत्राः अनुक्रांताः. After that, ते च पारंपर्येण विद्या उपयोगार्था एव. They are alone upayogi, they are only useful for getting the supreme knowledge. Now see, when we are sitting on the seat of meditation and discarding everything and coming to the substratum, that time our position is different. When we are in front of the Lord in our Jagdishwara temple, that time it is the Dvaita only, no Advaita. And when we are in the field working, that time it is only the Karma Yoga. And when this Karma Yoga is done with the devotion, then only there is an overall proportionate growth of our personality which will ultimately merge with the Supreme. Not knowing this, when we do wrong things at the wrong time in a wrong place, we lead to destruction. And therefore, paramparena vidya upayogartha eva. Those who don't understand this, they become one-sided in their thinking. Either they will talk only Vedanta without a trace of love for anybody. Only they are called as lipstick Vedantis. They are ready to give Upadesha and talk Vedanta to everyone. But as regards their own life and love for the society is concerned, is minus. Therefore, these various kinds of mantra, paramparjena vidya upayogartha eva. Anantaram, thereafter, vyavrutyatmanaha brahmanaha antar upasanam swarajya padam prastuyate. Now this is how we have dealt with in our upasana, how we deal in the outer world. Now from here onward, the upasana is now taking us inside. Now see these two distinct aspects. First, our upasana in the external world is conducted in such a manner that we become purified, raga dvesha removal, and the mind becomes single pointed. After that is done, now this raga dvesha rahita antakarana, the heart free from the limitations of likes and dislikes, and the single pointed mind, where do we employ this infinite energy now? Earlier that energy was going out, it was very good, no problem. But now that energy which is conserved, which is not allowed to leak out anywhere, now that energy has to be employed in a proper manner. And now that upasana is done within. So first, we use our interaction in the world to develop purification of the mind and single pointed of the mind. Now the same mind is employed in the inner world of thoughts and understanding. There also the purification and the single pointedness, and subsequently the inquiry about the truth, Atmatvena, it is done. And for that we start now the next mantras. Read together. Svaritiva eta tisro vyartayah तासामुहस्मै चतुर्थीं माहाचमस्य प्रवेदयते मह इति तद्ब्रह्म स आत्मा अंगान्यन्या देवताः भूरिति वा अयं लोकः भुव इत्यन्तरिक्षं सुवरित्यसौ लोकः मह इत्यादित्यः आदित्येन वाव सर्वे लोका महीयन्ते भूरिति वा अग्निः भुव इति वायुः सुवरित्यादित्यः मह इति चन्द्रमाः चन्द्रमसा वाव सर्वाणि ज्योतिगंसि महीयन्ते भूरिति वा रुचः भुव इति सामानि सुवरिति यजुगंसि मह इति ब्रह्मा ब्रह्मणा वाव सर्वे वेदा महीयन्ते भूरिति वै प्राणः भुव इत्यपानः सुवरिति व्यानः मह इत्यन्नम् अन्येन वाव सर्वे प्राणा महीयन्ते तावा एताश्चतस्रश्चतुर्धा चतस्रश्चतस्रो व्याहृतयः तायो वेद स वेद ब्रह्मा सर्वे एस्मै देवा परिमावहन्ति. Now this is the next upasana where the Brahman, the reality, the truth is contemplated upon as the fourth. This fourth comes also in our Mandukya when we will take, wherein we analyze these three planes of experience, Jagra, Sapna, Sushupti, and the three kinds of personalities, the waker, dreamer and deep sleeper, the Vishwa, Taijasa and Pradnya, and the Turiya, the fourth, with reference to these earlier three. So here also the teacher talks of these four kinds of Vyavritis. Now, Bhagavan Shankaracharya Tisra iti cha pradarshitanaam paramasharthaha. Now, Bhur-Bhuvasva iti. That word iti is meant to indicate these three together, and eta tisraha, they are also referring to the same three. So, iti, eta tisra, these are only the sankhya visheshana. These are the adjectives referring to these three. And further, paramrushta smaryante va iti anena. And there is one nipata, a particle, bhurvo iti va. Now va or vai, this is an avyaya. Avyaya also called as nipata. Nipata in English means particle. Now this particle is only to remind, smaryante va. So bhurvo sva, these are very popularly known vyavritis. This is the simple meaning. Eta tisraha. Now these are three. Prasiddha vyavritaya smaryante tavat. Thus by these words only this is meant. So bhurvosvarti va eta tisro vyavritaya. So this is a simple statement. It is popularly known that there are three vyavritis, namely bhur, bhuvasva. This is the meaning. Now further, tasam iyam chaturthim vyavritim maha iti. Now among them there is one fourth also, and that fourth vyavriti is called as maha. Now these three vyavritis are used before chanting Gayatri mantra, bhur, bhuvasva, then only the Gayatri mantra is chanted. So these three vyavritis have got different kinds of meaning in different contexts. And these vyavritis talk of the different planes of experience. Like when we will study our Sadachar text, which we started and suspended by God's grace. So then we start, there again you will see the first few mantras, they talk about the Gayatri mantra. And there the meaning of these vyavritis are given. What is the meaning? So, Bhur Bhuvasva talks about the Jagra, Sapna, Sushupti. Or Bhur Bhuvasva talks about the trio of experience. Experiencer, experiencer and experienced. In this manner, these three planes of experiences are together referred in different contexts as the three vyavritis. So, behind all the three vyavritis, tasam iyam chaturthim vyavriti maha iti. So behind these three vyavritis, there is one called as fourth, and the name of that fourth vyavriti is maha. Maha iti. Tam etam chaturthim maha chamasya apatyam maha chamasyaha pravedayate. And who knew about this fourth vyavriti? The fourth Vyahruti was known, Pravedayate, was very clearly known to the son of Mahachamas. So Mahachamas was a great Mahatma and his son was Mahachamasyaha, and he knew about this fourth Vyahruti. And uhasma iti etesham vrutta anukathanarthatvan viditavan dadarsha ityarthaha. These three this nipata again, ha and sma. See, if you see here, भूर भुव सुवरति वहां एता तीसरो व्याहृत है तासाम उ ह स्मई. These are the three nipata or particles which have no specific meaning, but the specific meaning in this particular context Bhagavan Shankaracharya gives that these three uhasma iti etesham vrutta anukathanarthatvad viditavan dadarsha ityarthaha. So they should be taken to indicate the past tense and also to tell that this is a historical fact. Because many times what happens, whenever we talk about the scriptures or some stories here and there, we suddenly jump that these are all imaginary stories, like this Panchatantra. There was a dog and there was a cat and they were enemies and then they become friends and thereafter they cross and something funny thing is born. And this is what is called as this progress in the material world. This kind of thing should not be taken. Therefore the word ha talks about itihasa. This is how the word itihasa, history is said. Iti ha asa. Thus was in the past. Therefore, this particularly Mahachamasya who gave this fourth Vyahruti, it is not an imaginary thing, but it definitely had happened in the past and he reported. So Mahachamasya Grahanam Arshanusmaranartham. Therefore, here another important aspect Bhagavan Shankaracharya tells us that Arsha Anusmaranartham. Now why did you bring this Mahachamasya? What was the need? ठीक है तो है, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? No. ऋषि स्मरणम अपि उपासना अंगम इति गम्यते. Therefore you must have seen whenever we do various kinds of, let us take Vishnu Sahasranam Archana. So we always remember who is the Rishi, what is the Chanda, what is the Devata. So we do the Karanyas, we do the Hridayanyas. In that we remember the Rishi, who is the giver of that particular mantra. And therefore, remembrance of the Rishi forms a part of Upasana. Therefore, if we chant any mantra without remembering that particular Rishi, we are not benefited by the mantra Shakti. Therefore, remembrance of the Rishi is a part of Upasana. This is indicated through this mantra. Rishi Smaranam api upasana angam iti gamyate iha upadeshat. And therefore this is what is instructed here by remembering this Mahachamasya. Now ya iyam Mahachamasena drushta vyahruti maha iti tad brahma. Now this vyahruti which was seen, discovered, known, reported by this Mahachamasya for the first time, this is called as Maha and it is none other than Brahma. So Maha iti Brahma. So that which was referred by this Mahachamasya as Maha is called as Brahma, Tad Brahma. And Mahat hi Brahma Mahascha Vyahruti. So that what was referred by Mahachamasya as the Vyahruti was originally already known as Brahman. So the Brahman itself was referred by this great saint as Maha, and then he came to know that what he has discovered was not something new. It was already established truth called as Brahma, in other words. So what is discovered by this Mahachamasya Rishi as Maha was the Brahma, and therefore he who recognizes this Brahman as Maha, he also comes to recognize rightly. This is the meaning. See how systematically the thought develops. So when we contemplate and discover something. And after we contemplate and discover something, then suddenly you come across some reference. And it is already given there. I remember I was talking somewhere long time about some particular topic. And when I spoke on that topic, I thought, something new, unique I have discovered. And the next day, one book came in my hand and that particular verse where that thought was clearly defined was there. So what I have thought that I have discovered something Maha, Tat Brahma, there is nothing new. It is already there. Therefore, what is meant over here, that in spiritual discovery, nothing new is created. It is ever-present truth alone is revealed. This is the meaning. So, Tad Maha iti Tad Brahma, and Mahat hi Brahma, Mahascha Vyahruti. So, that which was referred by this Mahachamasya as Vyahruti is in other words reported in our Upanishad or the Vedas as the Brahman. Now, Kim Punah Tat, what is that Brahman? Sa Atma, the third stage. Now see how stage by stage. This Mahachamasya, he must have done Upasana, and in this he has seen all the 3, like Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha, experiencer, experienced, the knower, known knowledge, the doer, done, doing, all these 3, Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti, and in this he, by his independent contemplation, discovered that all these mutually dependent variables are supported by some substratum which is not influenced by them, and this is Maha. Now I have understood. And when he understood, he was told, this is what is referred in the Upanishad as Brahman. Acha, I thought I had done something new. But up to here he was talking only objectively, Paroksha Jnana. And then further he contemplated, and then he came to know Sa Atma. So that Brahman which he has with independent contemplation discovered as independent substratum supporting all the changes is called as Brahman in the Upanishad, and it is none other than the self. So first he discovered Brahman objectively, then he was told that it is called as Brahman, not Maha only, but Maha and Brahman, they are one and the same. And third thing, that you have to discover this Maha or the Brahman as your own essential self. Otherwise what will happen? हमने ब्रह्म सब जगह देखा, अपने में नहीं देखा, then it will be a totally wrong approach. Therefore, Kim Punah Tat Sa Atma. Now why this Brahman has to be recognized as Atma? Apno tehe vyapti karmanaha Atma. Because that which permeates everything is called as Atma. Now be very attentive. This is what we every time do, and yet we are unable to recognize. If you take any experience, anywhere, any moment, suppose somebody talks about any event. The other day I went and there was no traffic at all on the road. I was so surprised, and we could drive very fast and we could reach very early than the scheduled time. So somebody reported, it should be over there. There is nothing to discuss about. But do you think that we will keep quiet? You are lucky. I remember I went on the same road. 18 hours I was there. Now what is the need? Because in your experience I was not the hero. But in this traffic jam I was the hero. So whether there is a traffic on the road or there is no traffic on the road, unless I, the hero, is invoked, that particular event is meaningless. And therefore this I, Atma, Vyapnoti must permeate everything. And thus, when we discover the meaning of this Brahman, the fourth Maha, Chaturthi Vyahruti, as the self, the Atma, then alone our inquiry is complete. Otherwise it is only Paroksha Jnana, otherwise it is only objective. It has not yet materialized or precipitated in the subjective experience. इतराश्च व्याहृतयः लोका देवा वेदाः प्राणाश्च मह इति अनेन व्याहृत्यात्मना आदित्य चंद्रमा ब्रह्म अन्नभूतेन व्याप्यन्ते अतः अंगानि अवयवा अन्या देवताः. Now all the other vyahrutas which are told over here, now go back to the original mantra. What is said? Mah iti brahma sa atma. Up to here we have come. Now angani anya devataha. So other devatas, which are the other devatas, that will be told subsequently. So other devatas, they are angani, they are the limbs. Like atma of this body is the heart, and the hands and the legs, they are the limbs. In the same manner, this Brahma or the Maha, this is the main thing. And all other devatas, they are the angani, the limbs. Therefore it is said, Bhu iti va ayam lokaha, Bhuva iti antariksham, Suva iti asau lokaha, Maha iti adityaha, and Adityena vava sarve loka mahiyante. Without the Aditya, the sun, this whole world has no meaning. Therefore, this Bhuva and Bhu and Suva, these are the limbs of that Mahavyahruti, which is in this loka as the sun. So it is the sun for whom all the three worlds are functioning. It is the consciousness for whom the Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas are functioning. It is the hunger for whom the food is being consumed. In this manner, we are being given a vision. Be very attentive. These mantras in Taittiriya Upanishad, they are very long, but the truth indicated is so subtle that we miss it very easily. So, what is said over here, that itarascha vyahrutayaha. So, which are the vyahrutayaha? The first is bhurvo suva iti, and tasamu hasmai tam chaturthim maha. So the fourth is Maha. So the fourth Vyahruti is Maha, and the three are popularly known. Now what the teacher is telling, that these three Vyahrutis, they are Angani, the limbs of the major Vyahruti called as the Maha. And then this vision is now to be applied in our everyday experience. So the first example given for contemplation for the Upasana is that now look at this ayam lokaha. What is the experience of this world? So here we are given the technique of superimposition. Bhu iti va ayam lokaha. So bhur, bhuvaswaha, these are the three vyahrutis. The bhu means ayam lokaha. This world is called as bhu. Then bhuva iti antariksham. Antariksha is the bhuva. And suva iti asau lokaha. And suva is that loka which is above the antariksha. Then Maha iti adityaha, and Aditya, the sun, is the fourth Vyahruti called as the Maha. And then further, Adityena vava sarve loka mahiyante. Without the Aditya, all these three worlds, the Bhurbuva Suvaha, have no meaning, and therefore the Atma of these three lokas is the sun, the Aditya. Now apply this everywhere, and thus discover what is the core, what is the substratum which is supporting all other experiences. And when we thus start contemplating in this line of contemplation, then we are now withdrawing from the external world and going within to the substratum that we essentially are. See, very beautifully this Upanishad brings about this Upasana Prakriya. So, itarascha vyahrutayaha. What are the other vyahrutaha? Loka, Deva, Veda, Pranaha. These are the four vyahruti example given here. So, first vyahruti we have seen Lokaha. Then the second vyahruti is Bhuriti va Agnihi, Bhuva iti Vayuhu, Suva iti Adityaha, then Maha iti Chandrama. So the Chandrama is the Maha, the Brahma. Then Chandramasa vava sarvani jyoti gamshi mahiyante. Then the third example for contemplation, Bhu iti ruchaha, Rugved is Bhu Vyahruti, Bhuva iti samani, Bhuva Vyahruti is Sama mantras, Suva iti Yajugamshi. Suva is the Yajur mantra, and Maha iti Brahma, and Maha is the Brahma, which is the fourth Vyavruti, and Brahmana Vava Sarve Veda Mahiyante. What is the crux of all the Vedic thought is the Brahman, and therefore all the Vedas are talking only about Brahman. And in this manner, in and through the varieties of different experiences, our attention is brought to the core for whom all experiences are meant. Like in Kathopanishad we have seen, there also Yamaraj tells the student Nachiket very clearly that our normal experience is that when somebody is doing respirations, he is alive. But Upanishad doesn't accept this statement. When we are alive, then only we can do respirations. So where is our attention? When we say the former thing, that when somebody is doing respiration, he is alive, we have given value of life to the air and not to the consciousness. But Upanishad very clearly tells that na pranena na apanena martyo jivati kaschana itarena tu jivanti yasmin etau upashritau. So this change of vision is called as upasana at the inner level. Very, very important. Unless this becomes clear, we will be only groping in the darkness. So, itarascha vyavrutayaha lokaha deva veda pranascha maha iti anena vyavrutyatmana aditya chandra brahma annabhutena vyapyante. So, these three Vyavrutiyas, I hope you are clear now. Take this, for example, three Vyavrutis. Make a kind of a, table. Vyavruti, Loka, Deva, Veda, Pranaha, 4. Under the Lokas, Bhur, Bhuva, Suva. Bhu is what? Bhu is I am Lokaha. Bhuva, Antarikshaha. And Suva, the third one. And what is the fourth Vyavruti? Maha. Now what is the Maha? Maha is first. For the Loka it is Aditya. For the Deva it is the Chandrama. Then for the Prana it is Brahma. And in this manner, one by one, the fourth combinations will be seen. So if you make a table like this, make Vyavrutis. So first Bhur, Bhuva, Suva and Maha. And under this Bhuva, first of all let us take Loka. So the three Lokas. And these three Lokas are supported because of the Maha, the fourth. And then Adityena Vava Sarve Loka Mahiyante. Then Chandramasa Vava Sarve Jyoti Gamshi Mahiyante. In this manner, this Maha becomes the Atma, the substratum, the support for the existence and the glory of the remaining three Vyavrutis. And thus, from all the experiences, draw your attention to this Maha Vyavruti. That is the purpose of this Upasana. So, if you read it in the respective manner, it becomes easier. Itarascha Vyavrutayaha, Loka, Kama, Deva, Kama, Vedaha, Pranaha. Now these are the four Vyavruti. Maha iti anena Vyavrutyatmana. Now what is the fourth Maha Vyavruti? For this Loka, Deva, etc. Aditya, Chandrama, Brahma and Anna. Vyapyante yataha, because they are permeated by these four Maha Vyavruti. Yataha, because ataha angani avayavaha anya devataha. And therefore, all these other three are angani or avayavaha. They are secondary. The primary is the Maha. Now, Devata Grahana Upalakshanartham Loka Dinam. So, the Loka etc. These are the Upalakshana. These are the secondary and they should be understood only as the Angani, the limited one. Maha iti etasya vyavrutyatmanaha Devalokadayaha sarve avayabhutaha yataha ataha adityadivihi lokadayaha mahiyante. So, all the other worlds, the Bhur, Bhuva, Suva, they are meaningful with reference to Aditya. They are meaningful with reference to Chandrama. They are meaningful with reference to Brahma. They are meaningful with reference to Anna. So, four lokas are meaningful when Aditya is there. Then the three lights are meaningful with reference to Chandrama. The three Vedas are meaningful with reference to Brahma, and the three pranas are important with reference to Anna. So without Anna, the prana cannot exist. Without Brahma, Vedas have no meaning. Without Chandrama, the Jyoti has no meaning. And without Aditya, the three worlds have no meaning. And thus, iti maha iti etasya vyavhrutyatmanaha. So, this maha is the atma of this devalokadayaha. The various vyavritis, their atma is this maha, and sarve avayava bhutaha, and all others are the avayavas of this main atma. So, adityadibihi loka mahiyante. Mahiyante means atmanaha hi angani mahiyante. Mahanam vruddhi upajayaha. Mahiyante vardhante ityartaha. So, mahiyante means all the limbs are meaningful with reference to the main body. So, how long we respect a person? As long as he is alive. After he is dead, then immediately we become philosopher. That there is no point now keeping the body, anyway everything is over. Let that person come, he may come, we may not get, the big queue is there. Let us go and stand. Because now the person has gone. So all the relations and everything is meaningful with reference to that life. The life has gone, everything is useless. In the same manner, mahiyante is glorified, vardhante grows with reference to this maha. And therefore, maha, Brahma, Atma is the point of upasana in the inner world. This is the conclusion. So, the more our attention is thus drawn away from the periphery and brought to the center, to the cortex, to the core, then alone it is called as upasana. Earlier upasanas were extrovert. What was the extrovert upasana? Oh Lord, give me a lot of understanding, buddhi, so I should be able to study and I should be able to give lectures and make people more confused. Then I should have a lot of wealth. So I should not be a poor Swami, I should be a rich Swami. And then I will do this, I will do that. How long? Enough. Now withdraw. Now focus your attention on the self. And this self has to be discovered as Maha, which is none other than Brahma, and this Brahman has to be recognized as one's own essential nature. In this manner, from the external, the student is slowly and steadily brought, focusing to the center. This process is called as upasana. And all other things that we do, they are right or wrong, provided this purpose is served or not served. If this purpose is served, it is right. If the purpose is not served, it is wrong. Now what is the purpose? That we become centered to the pure self. If this is happening, then our upasana is perfect. Anyatha, it is wrong. Now, Bhagavan Shankaracharya now takes the remaining things very fast. Ayam lokaha agni rugveda prana iti prathama vyahruti bhu iti. Now he has taken all the four under the bhu, the four things together. He will not take one by one. Uktam cha, the whole commentary over. We are already told, find out where it is said. So, loka, agni, rugveda, prana. Iti prathama vyahruti. Then, iti. Evam uktam, uttara, ekeka, chaturdha bhavati. In this manner you find out, subsequently, respectively. So, the first vyahruti is loka, agni, rugveda, prana. Then, the second vyahruti will become the antariksha, then vayu, and then samani, and then the third apana. This will be the second vyavruti. In this manner, find out what is what. Do that homework. And maha iti brahma. Ultimately, what is the truth? Maha iti brahma. So brahma iti onkaraha. Shabda adhikare anyasya asambhavad uktartham anyat. So here Brahma is referring to the Onkara, because that is how we started our upasana, that this is the Onkara upasana, Brahma upasana, because in upasana we always have alambana. We cannot do upasana without the support, pratika. And therefore here Brahma is being referred to the Onkar. And therefore uktartham anyat. बाकी का जो है हमने already बता दिया. Now after having said this point, then the remaining portion we will take in our tomorrow's class. Stop here. Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.